You seem uncomfortable. Do I make you nervous, Corky?
No.
Thirsty, maybe.
Curious, maybe.
That's funny. I'm feeling a little bit curious myself.
You should have seen this coming the moment you met us. Everybody knows our kind can't be trusted. Fucking queers. We make you sick. Welcome to Pleasers
And Punishers.
where we talk about movies that people love to watch.
I didn't get rubies.
Ruh-roh, Reggie.
I feel like that is the second time in a row now I've done that. So now it's becoming a thing. Movies that ruin your today, tomorrow, and yesterday.
And all things kinky and queer.
I'm Caitlin of the North.
And I'm May. Wake up, you fucking dyke, Schultz.
And today we're discussing, do you think that tattoo actually took hours and hours and hours? In Bound from 1996, written and directed by the Wachowskis sisters in their feature debut.
I'm going to be pulling a little bit from Mackenzie Wark's essay, Be Gay, Do Crime, which is published on the Criterion website. I'll make sure that goes in our show notes. But before we get into it, Caitlin, tell me, are you good with your hands?
Yes.
We definitely weren't talking off mic about you potentially killing me with your hands in a sexy way.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yes, no, just come undone here. I feel like we're gonna come undone this episode. Is what's about to happen.
We might.
Sometimes not like the finer motor skills, but I find you don't necessarily need those for certain activities. So, like fixing pipes.
Yeah, for sure.
Strength there.
I'm very good with my hands. I used to work out in the field doing low voltage work and running wires all the time and terminating cables and stuff. So things that require fine motor skills. And I'm also good with my hands in many other ways. You know, like giving people massages and head scratches and things
Orgasms.
like that. Yes. Yeah, you know what? Let's
just gonna
stop
come out and say it.
beating around the bush, as it were, and get into some role play.
Is that your bathing suit? Is that your overbite?
Now, one of you will be the drowning victim, and the other one gets to be our lifesaver.
I'll be the victim. All your life.
Woo! I'm fine. Okay. Let me tell you the story of Bound. If I don't explode. A voiceover montage brings us into a closet where Gina Gershon and her Labras tattoo are bound with ropes. Flashback to her in the elevator with Jennifer Tilly and Joey Pants before she enters the apartment she'll be remodeling. Tilly's Violet comes over with coffee for Gershon's Corky, and the sexual tension is already off the fucking charts.
Holy shit.
Just
Immediately, it's like, so I already have to go take a break. I don't even smoke, but maybe I need a cigarette. And nothing has even happened yet.
And we'll get into this more later, but this does feel like an accurate portrayal of sapphic flirting, where if two people have chemistry, they're just gonna have chemistry. So I love that. That evening, Corky visits the Watering Hole, a lesbian dive bar where we find out she's an ex-con and a cop box blocks her from getting laid with Susie Bright in a cameo. And we'll talk about her more later as well.
Yes.
The next day, she's summoned to Violet's apartment to retrieve an earring that went down the drain in the kitchen, which was definitely not a ploy to set up a porn scenario.
Nope, totally believable.
They sit down to share a drink, and Corky fingers Violet, who confesses to the ploy. Joey Pants's character, Caesar, interrupts them and, of course, immediately thinks Corky is a dude because she's kinda butch.
Slightly.
Violet comes out to Corky's truck, and they head back to Corky's apartment to fuck in what can only be described as one of the most accurate sapphic sex scenes of the 90s.
It's incredible.
Corky is suspicious of Violet's intents because she hears Violet and Shelley, the mafia accountant, fucking. But Violet's a sex worker, and she doesn't actually enjoy having sex with men. Out in the parking lot, she sees Shelley, clearly being led to his imminent doom by some of Caesar's associates. Detective Stabler smashes Shelley's face into the toilet repeatedly, and Mickey, a higher-up, begins to cut off Shelley's fingers. Violet then hatches a plan with Corky to steal over $2 million, and Joey Pants comes home with the bag full of bloody money. We flash forward again to Corky tied up in the closet, then back to Violet telling Corky about Caesar literally laundering the money. He even ironed it.
It's amazing. Bill by bill.
It's so fucking funny. The two scheme further for their heist. You son of a bitch, I'm in. And we get a montage of them setting their plan into motion. Corky uses her amazing lock-picking earrings and swaps out the money for a stack of newspapers. Violet then plants the idea in Caesar's head that Christopher Maloney's character Johnny stole the money. Violet attempts to leave Caesar, but he doesn't trust her. Corky dumps the bags of money into buckets of paint and waits in the apartment next door as Johnny, his father Gino, and another goon come up to collect. Caesar shoots Gino, the goon, and Johnny, so he's totally fucked now.
He loses it. Like,
oh yeah.
It's like he just snaps in this moment because he is fucked, and not in the good way like we were earlier. So
Violet stalls the cops, who show up as Caesar scrambles to clean up the mess of bodies and blood. At Johnny's, Caesar starts losing his mind as he trashes the place looking for the money. After putting in a lie-filled phone call to Mickey, they head back home, where Corky and Violet share a hands-on-the-wall phone call, but are interrupted by Caesar. He knocks Violet out with the butt of his gun, and Corky lockpicks her way into the apartment. A physical altercation leads to an interrogation, and Violet completely tearing down Caesar's masculinity. It's a beautiful moment. He's about to cut off Violet's thumb, but Corky confesses the money's location just after the apartment buzzer goes off. He stashes her in the closet, puts her gun in the freezer, and strikes a deal with Violet. Mickey and a goon show up to collect the money and share an incredibly tense glass of whiskey. Violet gives Caesar an out with a deceptive phone call, and Mickey and his goon are on their way. Now that's teamwork! Violet runs from Caesar, leaving Corky to escape the closet and make good use of the pruning shears to undo her binds and retake the money. Violet puts in a call to Mickey that sends him back onto Caesar's trail, then shows up with a gun and says, "If you want to live, you better start running." That was a terrible Jennifer Tilly. I'm sorry, everybody.
If you want to live.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
I lost.
No, that was pretty good.
If
That
you
was
want to
pretty...
live, you better start running.
Ooh, yeah. Violet shoots Caesar a lot, lies to Mickey some more, and she and Corky drive off together in a shiny new truck with $2.176 million. And that's bound.
Love a story with a happy ending.
Me too. I watched some of the special features on the Blu-ray, and one of the women talked about how this might be one of the only movies with a happy ending for two lesbian characters.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah.
For
That was
two of
obviously
them.
before Love Lies Bleeding
Yes,
came out,
yeah,
although
yeah.
one of those characters is bisexual. They are in a sapphic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
We don't participate in bisexual erasure on this podcast.
Damn, Skippy, we do not. That'd be wild. I'd be like, where am I? Where did I go?
Same. Okay, Caitlin. When did you first watch this movie? And how many times do you think you've watched it?
That, I can't really say when I first watched it. There was a Gina Gershon movie that had Mark Blucas in it. Yes. Something something rock and roll. It was like this indie movie, came out in 1990.
Okay.
Yes. And I watched that because, okay, I have a confession. I have a soft spot for Mark Blucas. I have a soft spot for Riley. I don't think he deserved all the hate that he got. I'm going to just wait for this. I have upcoming episodes on People Under the Scares, shout out on their Patreon Buffy Watch Along, and I have a feeling we're going to get into it. So anyway, I watched this movie because Mark Blucas was in it. Of all fucking what?
No comment.
Yep, I know. It's one of my, I'm sure it'll come up later. Anyway, so I watched this movie with Gina Gershon and immediately fell in love.
As one does.
And went to watch some of her other movies, and of course, there's Bound right there, and it is, I mean, at the time, that's like, it's the one. This is what we get.
Yeah.
Which, you know, if this is what we get, I'm not too sad about it. I just wish we got more.
True. But if you were a queer femme in the late 90s, early 2000s, and you saw this cover in the video store, oh, you were renting that. Oh, yeah, you were renting that. And that's what I did. I'm pretty sure I saw this after The Matrix, but not long after. So I was still in my early teens when I watched it the first time, and I thought it was so incredible that I bought it on DVD. Yes. And I still have my DVD copy. Thankfully, Maeve, my roommate, has the Criterion 4K, which
it's beautiful.
It is
holy shit.
So beautifully presented. There's some great special features on there. No free plugs. And I do love Criterion stuff. They really know what the fuck they're doing. I just wish it was easier to tell whether subtitles were on or off in the menus. It's always a little confusing.
What? Seriously. Which one is it? Am I highlighted? Am I not highlighted?
Right. Anyway, I have seen this movie quite a few times, but it's been a while since I watched it. I think probably since I showed it to my ex-wife, and of course, because she sucks. She didn't like it that much, and it just kind of sat on my shelf for a long time until I rewatched it yesterday. And I love this movie. And we'll talk about that more later. But first, tell me, Caitlin, which of these characters do you relate to more as you're sitting here looking just like Violet?
I was going to say, spoiler alert. There's certainly a part of me that is, I was going to say that's very quirky, but I think that is what I actually love about Violet, and one of the reasons why I associate the most with her character. She reads people very well. And she can pick things from people and go, this, and I can use that to my advantage.
Right.
She is just a woman out there trying her best to survive and pretty much doing an incredible job of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I also relate to Violet more because most of the time I am very high femme and I don't like men. And I do have a lot of the skill set that Corky has in terms of physical labor. I have snaked a drain or two in my day. Not a euphemism. It's not a fun thing.
Only a euphemism.
But as you can see on the sticker on the device, don't force the snake. And on that note, let's discuss the film's historical context in our next section, Faith and Chance.
I can't exist by myself because I'm afraid of myself, because I'm the maker of my own evil. Goodness is only some kind of reflection upon evil. That's all it is.
Okay, Caitlin, you have a lot of notes here, so tell me about this in whatever order you want.
So, going back to the 1930s, actually building off of what you said, that this is one of the few lesbian movies where both of them have a happy ending, really feeds into what was happening in movies at the time, starting in, even though it's not that close, 1930, I believe, 4 to 1968 is when the Hays Code was enacted. And
fuck you, Hays Code.
if you watch pre-code movies, they are so fun. Like,
oh, my friend Amanda has specifically requested to guest with us anytime we do a pre-code movie.
I love this old dark house. People are just getting wasted. They're having sex. It's just weird shit going on, and it's so much fun. There's a lot of queerness in the movies. I'm just gonna say, veiled with big quotation marks. It's very veiled. Some of it is not. And then the Hays Code comes in and puts this very much, I'm gonna say, Christian Protestant morality onto movies. And if you wanted, one of the big things about it is they would cut movies. Kind of like now, if you want to make a movie, make a lot of money, you also want to keep in international audiences. This was kind of like you want to keep in the very religious, middle of the country.
Yeah, once again, they're making art about a profit rather than artistic expression.
Yes, and putting on censorship to do so. And one of the big things with the Hays Code is queers had to be punished. They had to be punished for the movie to be seen.
Of course. Because why wouldn't we be?
Because living outside male desire is just, we can't have that. Their pretty little heads, thinking for ourselves. Ugh. And then this whole idea of the dangers of the dyke seducing the femme. And this is where a lot of the queerness, particularly sapphic queerness, is a lot of repression in horror. You get a lot of, cat people, or not necessarily Rebecca, but maybe Rebecca.
I do love Rebecca. Despite it being very confined by the Hays Code.
Exactly. So it's just, we're very, very confined. And then once the Hays Code ends in 1968, and it was already kind of on its way out because it's so lame. It's a lot of fun? Drinking, violence, sex, and queerness. Delightful. Well, not as much violence, but
violence on screen being done to aggressors.
Yes, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So then we get to the 70s and the depictions of lesbians. It's very much directed by men. For men. I mean, very, very high femme, very exploitative. You're not seeing a lot of butch women at all on screen because the idea of, because they're being made for men by men, there isn't a whole lot of usage for a butch lesbian, a dyke, if you will. And so we get a lot of women as villains, which at the same time, I'm not entirely mad about it. A lot of this is the 1970s lesbian vampire movies, which I believe we are both
big fans of.
Big fans. I was like, big fans? Yes. And again, it is very specific, though, of the look of the women, how they are treated within the movies, and their roles. So then, kind of moving forward here, we're in the late 80s, early 90s, which is really when a big film noir archetypes, they sort of start to re-emerge, but from the female kind of standpoint, like the anger of the, I don't want equality, I want revenge
Yeah.
standpoint. However, in a lot of ways, they were still written, directed by men. And this idea of like the lesbian chic, where, it's cool to be it's so cute if you're a lesbian, but gay men, so on and so forth. That lesbians are there, again, for male pleasure, that sapphic relationships are there for male pleasure.
Right.
And those texts really villainize what women had and queers had been fighting for up to this point. Again, we're talking about Reagan in the 80s, Bush, and then Clinton in the 90s, which so politics is just... I have this look on my face that May can see and no one else can, and my eyes are like really wide, and I'm just like gritting my teeth every time I say like Ronald Reagan. Friend of the queers, Ronald Reagan.
Just imagining Ronald Reagan saying, "I'm a friend of Dorothy."
Well, I wish. Wouldn't that have been nice? But again, and this is something I will just go into a little bit now. Obviously, there are still these discussions of like queer people playing queer characters, straight directors directing queer movies, writing queer text, playing queer characters. Like, who gets to tell the stories? Who gets to tell the stories? Whose viewpoint is telling these stories? If you are of a group that historically has not been able to tell your stories, what the importance of being able to do so?
Right.
And since these weren't written necessarily historically, these sapphic lesbian horror movies, thrillers, and whatnot, by lesbians or femmes sapphic, so there was just a lot of villainizing. And that is one of the, I think, also really cool things about this movie, is because obviously it takes this villainous, murderous archetype of the unkept woman, and they get to be our heroes.
Yeah.
The heroes we deserve.
There's a lot of subversion that happens in this, and we'll talk about that more later too. So that's movie history stuff. What was going on in the socio-political landscape in the mid-90s?
What a time.
In a way that it informs this movie.
Yeah, well, yes, right. The mid-90s. Wild.
It's true.
It was a weird time, definitely, because it felt, we're like on a cusp. Like, queer people were really on a cusp, where we're still coming out of a lot of liberation in the 70s, extreme oppression in the 80s, and a lot of that's still carrying into the 90s. And so a lot of actors would not actually come in and audition for these roles of Corky and Violet. Their agents were like, nope, it'll ruin their career.
Even Gina Gershon's agent did not want her to be a part of this movie. And I think in one of the special features, she says she dropped that representation because she wanted to do this movie.
Which, that's how you be an ally right there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not messing around with this anymore. Wait, I don't need this in my life. You know what? There are people who will support me. I could go and give them my money, or give them my percentage of whatever that is.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, because Gina Gershon had just played a bisexual in Showgirls. So,
Correct.
being gay, and even today, still, to a much lesser extent, but, there are many a queer actor who have not come out. Or explicitly come out. And definitely in the 90s, it could tank your career.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is kind of depressing.
That is very depressing. Yeah. I mean, Rupert Everett. You didn't didn't deserve what the world gave you. That was very, very obvious.
Him and his beautiful eyebrows.
Oh, God. I need to watch Cemetery Man. It's on something. I've
Me
never
too.
seen it. Have you seen it?
Me neither.
Well, isn't that funny?
Maybe we should cover that soon as a first-time watch for both of us. That could be really fun.
I like that.
All right, I'm going to text you that so we don't forget.
So we don't forget. We have this going on the socio-political landscape, and in the midst of all of this, they bring in Susie Bright. Actually, what the Wachowskis did is they sent the script to Susie Bright, or to Dino De Laurentiis, who just sounds like a treat.
Jennifer Tilly's impression of Dino.
Actor.
It's incredible. Again, y'all, if you own this Blu-ray, go watch the special feature that's just called Gina Gershon and Jennifer Tilly. And listen to Jennifer Tilly do her Dino De Laurentiis impression. It is amazing.
So either him or the Wachowskis.
I'm guessing it was the Wachowskis
I
sent
think
it to
so,
Susie.
yeah. Sent it to Susie, and it was like, we are a huge fan of your work, and we would like you. Do you want to what do you think of our script, and would you like to have a role in our movie? And according to her, she looked it over and said, this is a good script. You need help with the sex scenes, though. Can I come in and choreograph those and fill these in a lot of the bits about lesbian culture at the time? So she was very big on, obviously, the accurate representation of sapphic relationships and lesbianism on screen.
Which is nice to have when you have a movie that's very grounded in reality.
Yes. And it's interesting because both Susie Bright and I think it was Lana Wachowski kind of made reference to, again, kind of like, I am sick of these portrayals that are so far removed from my reality of who I am.
Yeah, an actual lived experience as a lesbian woman.
And I would like to see that on screen.
Right. Again, representation matters. It makes a huge fucking difference for people.
And I believe it was Lana Wachowski said that she kind of had the idea to do this movie walking out of Silence of the Lambs in tears.
Oh.
And just like, why are we always the villain? Why are we the ones that get killed? Like, why can't we have that happy ending? And decided this is it. I want to make that movie.
I fucking love that. Okay, so they bring in Susie Bright as essentially an intimacy coordinator before there ever was such a title. And I'm sure other movies have used people for similar roles previous to this, but this is the first time that it's really noted, as far as I'm aware. And I think that's really fucking cool because it sets a nice precedent moving forward that people are still utilizing the services of intimacy coordinators to the extent that there are a bunch of them. And my friend Amanda, who I mentioned earlier, Amanda Jane Stern, go watch her movie Perfectly Good Moment on Tubi. It's fantastic. She used an intimacy coordinator for that movie, and you can really tell because the sex scenes feel very authentic. And it's so important. And that's why I called the sex scenes in this probably the most authentic depictions of sapphic sex in the entire 1990s and maybe on film in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so good. It's so well done. And they're sexy without being exploitative. And that was very important to everyone involved. And I'm sure Dino De Laurentiis wanted a little more TNA, but where did it? I can't do a good Dino impression. And then you have a note here about Buffalo lesbians.
Yes. So this is something I just wanted to specifically call out. when Violet is like, and I got this tattoo, and it took hours, hours, hours. I was like,
It took hours because you kept taking breaks to finger your tattoo artist,
yes.
clearly.
Yeah, that tattoo did not take hours. I can guarantee you that. There's a lot more happening in those moments. In which I am now imagining. Ooh, okay, moving on. So, and I should have gotten a fan. It's already warm. Like, we're talking about this. But she specifically says upstate New York, which is interesting because they're in Chicago.
Correct. Even though it was filmed in California, which is very funny to me.
It's welcome to my life. I see when you look at Seattle, I'm like, so was that LA? Was that a palm tree? Not even close. But we're all gonna be okay. Yeah, so they're in Chicago. And so it's interesting that she specifically says upstate New York. And if people are familiar with the 5-pointed star, like naval star, it's a lesbian tattoo that was during the 50s, I think 40s and 50s, when you couldn't be out and safe in almost any part of the country. To be able to recognize other cat people.
Okay.
They had these naval, like these 5-pointed star
the nautical
tattoos.
stars.
Yes, the nautical stars. Yes, the nautical stars. Yep.
Got
And
it.
that was started in upstate New York. So when Violet says that, she is saying,
I like pussy.
Okay. So there's a lot that went into this, but what came out of it? What influence did this have on our culture?
I mean, it is incredible to me that the Wachowskis were able to do this, like, little boilerplate lesbian heist movie, and then went on to make The Matrix next.
Yeah, what a 1-2 punch at the beginning of their career, and they're still going strong. I can't remember if it's Lana or Lily, but one of them is developing Gretchen Felker Martin's book Manhunt into a series, which I'm very, very excited about that. I love that book. We covered it on Tender Subject. Go listen to that episode. You can hear me talk about how I marathoned the second half of the book right before we started recording and had to delay the recording by 15 minutes so I could stop sobbing.
I love this so much, man.
But yeah, the Wachowski sisters are doing great. One of them lives pretty close to me. I see her out walking sometimes. If you ever see another trans woman with pink hair, please say hi. Anyway, the fact that they did this and then The Matrix and then have had this incredible artistic career since then is fantastic. And I mean, this movie is delightful. It is fun. And it's got an 87% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes with a 7.9 out of 10. And it's got an even 4 out of 5 or an 8 out of 10 on Letterboxd, which is pretty high. Yeah, there's not a lot of movies that hit 4 and above for their average rating on Letterboxd. So good job, Letterboxd community.
Good job, Wachowskis.
Seriously.
It's moistureful. You could say seminal. I've heard ovinal. Shout out to Trace Thurman.
Oh, I get it. Moistureful instead of seminal. Because yeah. Yes. I get it now. I'm smart. And this obviously inspired some other sapphic texts, and you put down Love Lies Bleeding.
Such, like...
Oh, yeah.
Again, when we see Corky, again, snake in that tub, and when do we meet Lou in Love Lies Bleeding? With our hand just right down that toilet. It's like...
Ugh. Oh, it's
they
so
both
gross.
look disgusting.
Uh-huh.
And yes, we understand. We know. You see what I'm getting into.
We also have a tender subject episode on Love Lies Bleeding. That's me, Kate, and her partner, Beth. And we got very horny during that episode. It was wonderful. And then you also put down The Handmaiden, which I absolutely agree with, but I don't want to talk about too much because A, we're going to cover it, and B, I don't want to spoil any part of that movie.
No, I am very excited to cover that. I love that movie. It just really set the stage for positive portrayals of lesbians.
Yeah, and I think it's something we really needed, especially at that time, when more people were starting to be out more openly in the 90s, and this was kind of like a huge magnet for women in the queer community to be able to see themselves represented in a positive way and to be able to share that with other people. And speaking of sharing things with people, let's make out money. Okay, now we're going to dig into the meat, the goo, the viscera, the snaking of the drain in a section we call Enough is a Myth.
No. I've done enough.
Enough is a myth.
I have a quote here from Mackenzie Work's essay that I mentioned at the top of the episode. The Wachowskis' cinema never asks us to believe in the restoration of order to the world. It's the world itself that's wrong, that's false in its totality. Their cinema never asks us to make femininity the scapegoat for the falseness of the world. Theirs is a cinema of the art of surviving the wrong and the false by any means necessary. Their films are interested in connections across differences among those who live on the world's fault lines. Corky and Violet are different kinds of queers who've tried to endure in different ways and whose trust in each other is tested and found true. I love that quote. I love that whole piece. Mackenzie is a trans woman and talks about having watched the movie before transitioning and how much it means to her now. Fantastic article. I highly recommend everyone read it. Again, it'll be linked in the show notes.
I also recommend everybody be gay and do crime. So
yes, obviously. Hey, pretty soon being gay will be a crime again.
That is where this has its roots, everybody.
Okay, anyway.
Crime.
Violet plays the role of feminine arm candy for Caesar's mobster character, but is femme with Corky's quote-unquote butch. And I'm not going to get into the extreme delineations here. Is Corky super butch? No. She's more butch than Violet. So within the context of this, Violet is femme, Corky is butch. Do you think there's any kind of trans reading here in how Violet presents differently when she's with someone who can see her for who she really is?
Absolutely. I think that there is 100% a trans reading here. That was not my initial reading. However, when I saw this, I was like, oh, yeah, it is not also the sex work. Not being able to hold it down, or not hold down, but not being able to get hired for jobs because of how you present. That, as again, now I'm mad.
I mean, the movie overall is about people being trapped in both areas of their own making, but also the areas that other people force them to occupy. And that's a very trans experience. So Violet is essentially being forced to pretend to be someone she isn't. Someone who enjoys having sex with men, someone who enjoys being in a relationship, or enjoys being the gangster's mole, as would be said in film noir terms. And when she's with Corky, she gets to let her guard down. She presents differently, and she's still very feminine. She's still very overtly sexual, but in a way that is more authentic to who she actually is. And it's pretty powerful to watch as a trans woman and be like, Oh, okay, yeah. This was definitely written by two siblings who are trans and didn't
Spoiler
realize
alert,
it
they were
yet.
lesbians the whole time.
Right, exactly. And I think that's incredible, and I think that's part of what makes this such a powerful text.
And even going further, this is something that most marginalized communities can feel is the code switching. Like, her voice will get lower when she's with Corky.
Yep.
She'll be in her natural register when she's in Corky. When she's talking to Caesar, it goes up in the register a bit. It's that very, like, I don't want to, like, hurt him in any way.
Right.
You need to feel like you're the big man right now.
And it is so fascinating to watch her do this, again, to survive. These are survival tactics that marginalized people have to pick up to survive in, situations that are not set up for them to succeed in.
No, they really are not.
And I do it all the time. Like, I'm not a professional person, y'all.
Oh, God, no.
I don't know if you've done that.
I got so fired from the one office job that I had because I was an outspoken trans woman who refused to kowtow to all of the dumb fucking rules that made absolutely no sense to me.
I've had a hard time moving up. I hit a certain point and it's like, oh, I'm a bit mouthy, aren't I?
Well,
I'm not here to, like, handle you with, like, little baby gloves. So watching Violet again and using that as a manipulation tactic. And then also just thinking about how, for me, being a socialized female and, like, being on the phone and automatically voice gets higher.
Yep. Yeah, I've talked about my customer service voice on podcasts before when I was working in the drive-thru at Starbucks. So my voice right now, this is higher than my original natural register. But this feels natural for me now. This is where my voice feels comfortable. But when I'm doing customer service shit, my voice is up here. Hi, welcome to Starbucks. This is May. What can I get started for you? And I would still get misgendered, which is absurd to me. But yeah, there's so much performance that we often need to do as queer people, and especially as gender non-conforming people or trans people, to be able to get by without the threat of violence. Violet and Corky's hands are treated very sensually throughout the film and are almost portrayed as secondary sex organs. But men's hands are almost exclusively used to do violence. So how do you feel about Violet shooting Caesar at the end of the movie?
She took that strap on and she fucked him with it. And in that blood and white goo, that's definitely not seminal.
No, it's paint, Caitlin. God, get your mind out of the gutter.
Never. You're not my supervisor.
And I don't want to be.
Right.
Because I'd just give you all the promotions.
Thank you. I deserve them.
Yeah, I think it's a very slasher movie trope. The final girl picks up the weapon that the killer dropped and penetrates him with it, etc. But because this is not a slasher, because this is a neo-noir gangster movie, heist movie, it really is a subversion of expectations. And a big part of that is that Violet is not a femme fatale. You expect her to be. And that's another way the Wachowskis are playing with your expectations. So there's just subversion after subversion happening, sometimes within one another. And it's so beautifully rendered because you don't know what's going to happen. And sometimes the thing you expect to happen does happen, but it still surprises you because you're like, oh, wait, this other thing didn't happen, so maybe this thing won't happen. But then it does, and you're like, oh, interesting.
what are we going to do now?
Yeah.
Like, and Violet, how fast she is on her feet, too.
So good.
One of my favorite things is the only way they didn't see this plan going was Caesar sticking around and confronting Johnny. And that is a huge misstep. I'm not
But they make it work.
But they made it work. So well. And, you know, it really, for me, goes back to the conversation of the little dyke inside of them. And I love that moment so much. Because if this movie did not have that sapphic perspective, it'd probably be like, of course I do. It's exactly like yours. And I just like how she's like, no, she's nothing like yours. She's nothing like you. She's a lot smarter than you, for one. And I'm like, yes. And also, because, yeah, your little dyke is not like Corky's. It won't be like Corky's because you're not the butch.
No, but I do love that moment at the end when she says, you know what the difference is between me and you? What? Me neither. And it's beautiful because it doesn't really matter.
Right. Exactly.
In the end, they partnered up and they got the fucking job done. And it's beautiful. So we were talking about subverting expectations. And I said, this is both a film noir and a gangster movie. And it constantly subverts our expectations. Totally unrelated. If you were a mobster, what would your method of extracting information be? I like doing these non sequitur questions.
No, I love them. I love them so much. Probably because they're also like my bread and butter. I'm very good at being like, but what about this weird thing that my brain could not stop thinking about, but I'm really interested in?
And this is why we make good co-hosts.
Yeah.
We could probably pull off a heist.
Oh, I absolutely think we could pull
Except
off a
I'm
heist.
clumsy. I'm a little clumsy.
I'm very clumsy, but I think that we would have to just take that into account.
So we could pull off a heist in a cartoon universe, and it would be absolutely hilarious. Okay, cool.
It'd be so excellent.
Okay, but what would your torture method be? How would you get information out of people?
So at first, I don't know why my initial thought was like, I could definitely beat the shit out of someone's face. I was in a mood yesterday, apparently, when I read this, and I was like, I could beat the fuck out of someone, get that information. And I was like, no. I'm going to do something way worse.
Oh, God.
This idea did not come to me because I started thinking about hands as sexual organs, and then when Caesar goes to cut off one of Violet's fingers, and the symbolism there. Prior to that moment when I was rewatching this yesterday, I was like, well, what you could do is what if you just like, if we're starting, I'm just going to start like, it's probably a man. I'm going to guess it's a man if I'm if I'm extracting him from. If I am going to be doing violence, probably a man. In my mobster universe is how I'm seeing it. And this man has a penis. And I'm going to chop off that slice it very thinly, bit by bit, till I can get my answers.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
So just starting at the tip, you're slicing it like a log of salami.
Just like deli meat.
Okay, would you use a deli meat slicer?
I just thought about that, and like a mandolin or something. You gotta get real thin.
Yeah, manual.
Real thin
do it manually.
Slices, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And sex organ violence. Yep, that was mine.
Yeah. Cool.
How about you, May?
I think I would be so painfully overly nice to someone that it would drive them fucking nuts, and they would just tell me what I wanted to know to get me to stop. Because my default is to be really nice to people and to take care of people. And my bestie Erica, I do a lot for her, and she really appreciates it. But she does not like feeling like she's being caretaken.
Oh, mm-hmm.
So I have to find ways around that so that she doesn't feel like I'm trying to do things that she doesn't want me to do. And obviously, I don't want to do things she doesn't want me to do. It's just like, you know, sometimes when you know someone really well, you can anticipate their needs. So, like, I know she needs to drink water before she does. And I'm like, hey, do you want some water? And she's like, no.
And now I'm not going to drink any water ever.
But then 30 seconds after I've gotten myself water at a concert, she'll be like, can I have some of that? And I'll just roll my eyes and hand it to her. So, yeah, I think I could absolutely drive someone completely nuts by taking too good of care of them and being too nice to them. Kill them with kindness, right?
This is just very funny 3-hour conversation about Bring Her Back.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Is this a trap? Is this... I don't need this.
Well, speaking of traps, let's play a game.
Hello. You don't know me, but I know you. I want to play a game.
Okay, Caitlin. This movie is overtly queer.
Yes.
No mistaking that.
No.
But do you think it's a pleaser or a punisher?
This is a pleaser unless you are homophobic.
Yep.
That is the only thing I can think. Because even if you aren't into, and I do not know who is not into this relationship between Corky and Violet.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess even if you're not, it is still a great, like, tight, boilerplate mobster heist movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like last week I kind of reverted to, there's a lot of funny moments in Four Flies, I think it's a crowd pleaser. And I just want people to know, I don't just think comedies are crowd pleasers. And that is not necessarily what I associate with, but there is comedy in this as well.
Oh, there's definitely some great comedy.
Oh, Chris Maloney is...
Fucking dark in here.
Oh, Joey Pants. That suit
I love Joey Pants.
First walks out in is ridiculous. It is about 5 sizes too big for him. It is not oversized. This is like, your clothes do not fit. I listened to the commentary, which is pretty wild because it was in 1997. And also, like, some of the actors show up halfway through. It's just a whole, it's one of those early days of DVD.
Mm-hmm.
God, yeah, it was 97.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think DVDs came around in around 97, 96, 97, and started getting more popular. I remember Blockbuster started carrying them in 98, I believe.
1998 does sound correct. This suit is not 96, 97, or 98 appropriate.
No.
And what he says when his character, when Caesar first walked out, he goes, I brought that suit from home. Just like... Because I was like, texted May. Oh my God, I miss Joey Pants. R.I.P. since he got eaten by that suit.
It's true.
Regardless, he's Chris Maloney. Apparently, that role was always supposed to be funny, but most people who came in and read for it did not read it as funny.
Oh, Christopher Maloney is such an underrated comedic actor.
Seriously.
He is. His comedic timing is phenomenal, and the fact that he's able to be funny with a character who's essentially a psychopath it is very impressive, and I really appreciate it because he brings levity to all of the scenes he's in, but you're also kind of scared of him because he's unhinged and you don't know what the fuck he's gonna do. He could smash your head into a toilet seat, or he could just shoot you, or he could comically say, "Don't shoot," as he's dying after you've already shot him. Which is wonderful.
So many shots fired. But also, I think one of the things I do think crowd pleasers, when they subvert those expectations and they nail it, and there is honesty and truth in subverting those expectations, that is a pleaser right there.
Yes, and I love that you brought that up, because it's not about whether or not it makes you laugh necessarily. It's not about whether or not it's cool. It's about whether or not you feel connected to it in a way that feels rewarding for watching it. And those other aspects can fold into that. Obviously, if you laugh, you are usually enjoying something. If something's cool, you're going to be like, whoa, that was awesome. And those factor into whether or not something is a crowd pleaser. But yeah, the underlying emotional reward of it is, I think, the most important aspect. So I'm going to agree with you and definitely classify this as a pleaser.
So beautiful. That is so hot.
Yeah, God,
So
yeah.
hot.
So, any final thoughts? Other than that you want to be in a sandwich between Jennifer Tilly and Gina Gershon?
I'm right in the middle of that sandwich, please. I quit smoking last year at some point, and yes, it's very much like, if the idea didn't disgust me, I would definitely want a cigarette. First moment, that first, 30 minutes of the movie, it's just like, I have to stop. I have to take a break for reasons that I'm not going to get into right now. But I'm just going to take a little bit of a break right now.
I originally had a line in the synopsis about when they first interact over the coffee about already needing new panties. And maybe I should have left it in, because it's kind of true.
Within the first 2 minutes of the movie, I was like, I'm really wet. I already can't handle this. I've seen this before. I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah. I don't know if I have ever seen two women on screen have more chemistry than Gina Gershon and Jennifer Tilly do in this movie.
It's off the charts.
It's off the charts, and it's uncanny because it feels so real. And the way they talk about each other in that special feature, it kind of makes it seem, because they say that to this day they are still good friends, and you're like, did they make out outside of the movie? Do they fuck outside of the movie? Because it really seems like they might.
So, did you watch Chucky?
I have not watched the Chucky TV series yet. I would really like to, because I love that franchise.
I really enjoyed the show, even the third season, which is just, it's real wild and weird. And I'm like, again,
that's the one with Phantom of the Opera Chucky, right?
I think so.
Okay, cool.
There's so many. That's the one in the White House. It's the
nice.
With President Devon Sawa.
Hell
the president we deserve. There's a Bound reunion episode.
Listeners, you obviously cannot see this, but my eyes just got so wide that I looked like a Bratz doll.
I'm pretty sure it's season 2. It is.
Okay. I guess I'll be starting that show as soon as possible now.
The kids say something to her like, oh, Miss Tilly, we're a big fan. Or then she goes, aren't you a little young to have seen Bound?
Incredible.
And it is one of my favorite line readings probably of all time. Anytime it comes up, I'm like, aren't you a little young to have seen Bound? Just the idea of these 13-year-olds.
Yeah,
yes, they are.
I was 12 or 13 when I saw it the first time, so.
Again, the sexuality is beautiful. It is healthy. They're feeling each other out. Inside and out.
They're getting wrapped up in each other. And I think it's time we wrap up with what awaits you next time.
Don't you see? He's got us now. Okay, this is exactly what he wants. We can't go to the police, not now. He's made sure of that. He's just out there and he's watching us and waiting. What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
And that brings us to the end of our episode. Thanks so much for joining us on this journey, fellow travelers. If you like what you hear, please leave us a rating and review wherever you can, because it helps more people find the show and it makes us all tingly inside. You can find us on Instagram at Pleasers and Punishers and on Blue Sky at pleaserspunishers. You can also email us at pleaserspunisherspodcast@gmail.com. You can find me on Blue Sky and Letterboxd at Everson Poe. You can find my music on Bandcamp and streaming services as Everson Poe, 2 separate words. Look out for pre-order announcements coming probably soon, because as of today's recording, my next album based on Hellraiser 2022 is absolutely finally finished.
Yes!
Yeah!
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. And you can also hear me on Tender Subject and Slayerfest 98. Caitlin, where can people find you?
I don't know if it's just the episode. I absolutely heard you say Pleasers and Punishers podcast at gmail.com. Anyway.
I may have.
Listeners, let us know. What did May say? How horny was it?
Horny Harold was so horny. How horny was he? God, I'm so glad you're a Match Game fan.
Oh, do I have stories for you? Well, I can be found at Caitlin of the North on Blue Sky. Oh my God. This movie has got me tongue-tied. I said what I said. You can find me at Caitlin of the North on Blue Sky and Instagram, or Cat of the North at Letterboxd. I'm very much looking forward to not being stressed at work, and maybe I'll be better at the social media moving forward.
Well, next week's episode is going to be on Nicholas Winding Refn's Divisive, The Neon Demon.
I'm doing this to May.
It's true. I hate that movie a lot. And I'm excited to talk about it.
I'm so excited.
The one thing I'll give it, and I'll talk about this more next week, it looks beautiful.
Oh, God.
He knows how to shoot a movie.
The vibe is there.
Yeah, the vibe is there.
Vibe is there.
Yeah. Well, until then, make sure you do some aftercare, clean your toys, set healthy boundaries, and...
Caesar, you don't know shit.
I know